to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
A beautiful afternoon out there, and welcome to the first edition in the week in the newsroom. My name is Oladayola Nipekon, and now usual style, we'll be looking at 3 issues in the newsroom this afternoon. The first has to do with substituting, well, some people call it placeholder, how political parties can substitute VP nominees. But you know, Nigeria, we have a way of, initially we used to call we would say defection, later it became cross-carpeting and some other names. And this time around, instead of the word substitution, somebody has also called it, who has also called it placeholders. So how, INEC is saying, how political parties can substitute their VP nominees. And it's very legal, very, very legal. The second topic says 2023, how vote sellers, buyers operate compromise elections. Well, there are buyers, there are sellers. How the sellers and the buyers are compromising the Nigerian election. And the third says, a Kerimadu wife and the UK saga, former Vice President, former Deputy Senate President, UK Kerimadu, allegedly caught by Metropolitan Police on the organ harvesting. The case is still in UK, and we want to look at it. This time around, we are taken to the court of public opinion. Look at either the compromise, either the legal aspect and the moral aspect. And on Mondays, I have with me our guest. Latif Agbola, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dairo. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure being here.
Yes. We have our own leader and our own boss. Well, it's not very common in name. Sake. Sake, good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, Dairo. Good afternoon, viewers.
It's nice to have you around.
Thank you very much.
And we pray we're going to have you around.
Amen.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Well, my director is here. Today he has to be in the newsroom. He's always in the newsroom, but today he has to be here proper. I cannot leave it out.
Good afternoon. Good
Yeah,
afternoon
welcome
to our viewers actually.
Yeah, and I'm starting from you. Before we go into the discussion, let's have the other side and listen to an opinion, INEC opinion, as chronicled or captured by the INEC Commissioner for Publicity and Voters Education, Festus Okoye. Can we have him?
The Section 29, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2022 obligates the Commission to publish the names of validly nominated candidates within a period of 7 days after the receipt of their nominations. So if a candidate has been validly nominated, and if a candidate has passed through valid party primaries, and the name of the candidate has been submitted by the leadership of the political party concerned, then the Commission is under a constitutional and legal obligation to publish such a name, to publish the particulars of such an individual or candidate. But if a political party submits to the Independent National Electoral Commission the name of a candidate that did not emerge from party primaries or did not emerge from valid party primaries, the Commission is not obligated to publish the name of such a candidate. As far as the law is concerned, and as far as the Commission is concerned, the Commission makes it mandatory that the moment a presidential candidate emerges, such a presidential candidate must nominate an associate who shall run with him or her as a vice presidential candidate. And so both of them are CMS twins, and they move together and they fall together. Now, in the forms submitted by the various political parties, they submitted forms relating to their presidential candidates, and they also submitted forms relating to their vice presidential candidates. And that is in compliance with the provisions of the Constitution and also in compliance with the provisions of the law. Now, there is a provision in the Electoral Act for withdrawal of candidates validly nominated. And the law provides that a political party cannot substitute a candidate that has been validly nominated except in 2 instances. If the nominated candidate dies or if the nominated candidate withdraws from the race. And in terms of withdrawal, the nominated candidate shall, in his own writing, write a letter to the political party that nominated him, indicating that he has withdrawn from the race. And that must also be accompanied by an affidavit duly sworn to by the said candidate. Then the political party that nominated the candidate will now forward same to the Independent National Electoral Commission, saying that our presidential candidate has withdrawn or our vice presidential candidate has withdrawn.
Okay, just from Justice Mount.
Yes, he has spoken very well according to the Electoral Act. And let me say this, I'm not a lawyer, but the Electoral Act, I would not say, did not allow for substitution of candidates. The only thing is that there are procedures to be adhered to in changing either the vice presidential candidate or the presidential candidate according to him, or even narrowing it down to governor and deputy governor. I want to say all the political parties are aware of this. And because it is still possible, that is why you can have what they are now calling placeholder. Because you know, as far as the Electoral Act is concerned, there are bits of lacuna that can still be worked on. Before I will appoint you, select you as my placeholder, we must have discussed. And there must have been agreements and concessions as to when the time comes, and it will not just be the candidate that will do that. The party hierarchy will be likely involved. Again, when you see what has led to this development, is because the political climate is a bit cloudy. The candidates have emerged, but picking the running mate, a lot of things have to be considered. Take, for example, APC. As at yesterday, the candidate, the presidential candidate, is still consulting. And so many things are at stake. Some are bringing religion, some are bringing the geopolitical zone, some are even bringing age into it. Some are bringing gender into it. So until that is concluded conclusively, a placeholder must be involved.
Okay.
And look at the Labour Party too. The same thing is more or less playing out. And he has played safe. He didn't go up north to pick a candidate. Southwest. That is clear enough that it's only someone who is not serious that will do south, southeast, and southwest in this particular election. So I want to say this is a new phenomenon coming up in a new dimension. Maybe we'll be having it, but it's coming on in a new dimension now, and we have to contend with that.
Zaki, I'm coming to you. Placeholder. They call it placeholder. But in the Electoral Act 2010, it will be the party can just come around and write our neck. Don't worry, we have nominated this person, we're no longer nominating him. But in the Electoral Act 2022, that clause that says a nominated candidate, either vice president or president, must write
in his own right.
in his own writing and sign an affidavit.
Not typed.
Exactly. That aspect.
Well, it's a funny scenario, and that is Nigeria or Nigeria for you. As you said in your intro, you've never been hearing placeholders. You know? Some people call it placekeepers. It's a funny situation. But on a more serious note, you see, I think INEC has taken enough steps to checkmate whatever pranks that could arise. But in as much as they have done that, there are also ways by which these politicians will sidetrack INEC. Like Aki said, before a presidential candidate would put forward a placeholder, there will be some underground understanding that, look, you are just going there to, what do you call it in Yoruba?
Adele.
You are going there to be Digerewo. But I pray they don't have a recalcitrant placeholder who will at the end of the day refuse bluntly to say that I've taken hold of this. I won't drop it.
Only death.
Yes, only death. I pray they have that so that they will learn their lessons.
Good.
I mean, what is too difficult in getting a running mate? What is too difficult about it?
You are looking at it that way because you are not a politician.
No, I know. If not because of these extraneous issues like religion, like a tribe, like a geopolitical
zone.
I mean, there's nothing strange about it. This is not the first time you're having presidential election in this country. We've been having it. Of course, I've been witnessing since 1979, and I've never seen this kind of situation. The moment a presidential candidate emerged, a running mate would follow immediately, and there won't be any rampart. Look at what you are having now. So it's a threat to our democracy. It's a threat to our democracy, and I believe INEC will really sit up and checkmate all these unnecessary delays and these pranks by politicians. You know, we have someone, Lawan and Akpabio, they are having problem now. They did not contest they did not take part in the primary election. The real primary election.
Like governor of Ebonyi State.
Yes, and INEC has taken the position. How far INEC will go by maintaining that position is something you have. Because if the likes of Lawan is involved in this kind of situation, you know, they can use the big stick up there and knock them and knock their head down and get them and get their ways through. But I hope INEC will not bend.
Clem, I'm coming to you. Let me go consider now. Section 142, subsection 1 of the conduct. Let me read it. In any election to read the foregoing provisions of this part of this chapter relate, a candidate for an election to the office of the president shall not be deemed to be validly nominated unless he nominates another candidate as his associate from the same political party for his running for the office of the president, who is to occupy the office of the vice president. In the case of APC, Ibrahim Kabiru Masari has been nominated. And in the case of B Labour Party, Dr. Doyo Kukwe. But let me just take that of the APC. The man just said he has received 300 messages congratulating him.
That's Nigeria for you anyway.
So you see the place of that thing coming up.
Just like Abibi that time, Abibi said he will step aside, not step down. So it's a matter of semantics. But going to politics, the real politics, we have some governors in the history of the democracy since 1999 that from day one, they will have given their appointee a resignation letter, duly signed, expecting only the date. And I believe that's what APC must have done to Masari, whether we take it or we reject it. Even this law we are talking about, they must have done their own work even before the electoral law became what it became. This is Nigeria and this is politics. They are playing it, they know how they do it. That guy must have resigned before he was appointed.
Like even with the statement that he has used about 300 messages.
And that's why I said that's Nigerian factor for you. Nigeria congratulate anybody for anything. Even if you buy a recharge card, people will say congratulate. That's Nigeria.
Okay, you want to react?
Yes, you see, this idea of congratulating Masari, it is expected. It's part of the game. Those who are congratulating him, some may be doing it mischievously.
Exactly. So as to create.
And some may be doing it to go deep into refusing
To sign and
but,
take out
but honestly, I wasn't thinking of the line of
club.
Latif, that these people might have written the resignation letter, signed, and submitted to the appropriate quota before they were even picked as placeholder. It's possible. You remember the story of OBJ
And I'll do it.
and Adrogbe. So let's leave that aside. You see, the issue of nominating running mates has been one that has been a bit funny in the democratic happenings as far as Nigeria is concerned. Look at what Obasanjo went through